What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC 316. We have Sean O'Malley going against Merab Dvalishvili 2. And yeah, looking forward to this card. We got 13 fights as of now. I'm hoping there's no pullouts on weigh-in day. Hoping nobody pulls out, during the main event. That'd be nice. But yeah, as long as all of these 13 fights stay on the card, I think it's going to be a very fun card, and I like this card a lot from a DraftKings perspective. Before we get into it and break it all down, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment if you guys want to support me more, or if you want more content, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Have betting and DFS content on there. With the DFS package, you get the targets, the projections, the ownership projections, the rankings, the lineup optimizer, prize picks, underdog content, DFS article, and much, much more. So check it out on dfsbythenumbers.com. Also check out Prize Picks. Use code DFSBTN. You'll get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Whether it wins or loses, you'll get $50 instantly into your Prize Picks account. Again, use that code DFSBTN. And with all that out of the way, I say we get into it. We're going to start with the fight doesn't go to decision lines. Which fights are projected to finish here? Up top, we got Mirzakhanov Ribeiro minus 800 for the fight doesn't go to decision. And I would tend to agree. I think only this fight ends within the first, or within the fight. I think the fight ends within the first 7.5 minutes here. I think it goes under. I think the under 1.5 is even like minus 160. So yeah, they're thinking this fight's going to finish early, and I would tend to agree. I am on Mirzakhanov to win the fight, but he's very expensive this week. There's a lot of very expensive fighters that I think are in play. He's one of them. I feel like if Mirzakhanov's winning this fight, he's probably winning it by knockout in the first or second round. There are some fighters I do like a little bit more, but I think Mirzakhanov's in play. As far as Ribeiro, at the end of the day, these guys are big guys. They're light heavyweights. Ribeiro's going to be much bigger. Ribeiro is dangerous in his own right, so I think Ribeiro is like a dart throw. Could make some sense, but I do think Mirzakhanov probably goes out there and sparks him in the first round. Next, we got Kevin Holland going against Vicente Luque. We got minus 260 for the fight. Doesn't go to decision here. So, yeah, I'm more so on the Holland side this week. He's 8,800. I think he's getting Luque at the right time here. Maybe a couple of years ago, Luque probably has a chance to maybe get a Darce. And even now, it's I think if Luque's winning this fight, it's probably a Darce. He's not knocking out Holland. I don't think he's winning a decision against Holland. If Luque's winning, he's probably catching Holland in a Darce choke, right? But yeah, I think Luque's durability is a little bit iffy at this point. I kind of lean Holland by knockout. Holland 8,800. He's expensive as well, but there's a lot more expensive fighters on the slate than Holland this week. So I think Holland's definitely in play for me. And then we got Williams Gustafsson, minus 250 for the fight, doesn't go to decision. This is the first fight that we've talked about so far where I kind of think both sides are very important here. With Chaos Williams, you have 8,700. Gustafsson is 7,500. Last week, Gustafsson was a core play for me when he was supposed to fight Trevin Giles. I do think this is a much tougher matchup for Gustafsson, but he's going to go in there and do the same thing he was going to do against Trevin Giles, and it's going to be just be chaotic, make this a car crash. I think it's going to be a chaotic car crash where somebody probably gets finished. I think Williams probably wins, but Gustafsson, there's not a lot of dogs on the card that I like. I think Gustafsson at 7,500 is a guy that will absolutely fight for your money and a guy that is pretty dangerous in his own right. So yeah, I think somebody gets served here. A good fight to play both sides at these salaries. And then we got Kayla Harrison going against Juliana Pena, minus 210 for the fight, doesn't go to decision. And yeah, it's Harrison for me. She's 9,700, so very expensive, but I do feel like she can pay off this price tag here with takedowns, control time, just dominance. I think it's going to be a very dominant win here for Kayla Harrison. I think she's going to take down Pena with little ton of resistance. I mean, Pena has a 23% takedown defense. One of the worst takedown defenses in the division, and she's champion, which is crazy to me. But yeah, Harrison should get takedowns. I think she makes it look dominant and pays off that 9,700. So yeah, Harrison for me, and she'll also be a core play there for me at 9,700. If you can fit her in, I think she does very well this week. Kevin Holland, who we also talked about a little bit, 8,800. I think Luque's on his way out. Luque's only 33 years old, but, in terms of fight years, he's probably double that. He's taken a lot of damage in that Jeff Neal fight. I think just changed him a little bit. We saw him quit against Buckley, and I think Holland's going to hit him very hard here. I think Luque's probably going to look for the door. I think Holland gets the knockout or maybe even a club and sub win. So I like Holland at 8,800. Sergey Spivak, 8,300. There's not a ton of closely lined fights on this card, and this is the closest line fight on the card. We have Sergey Spivak on the money line, who's sitting at minus 135. We have Waldo Cortez Acosta, who's sitting around like plus 115. So this is the closest line fight on the card. But with that said, I feel like this is one of the most important fights from a DraftKings perspective, because I feel like the winner of this fight is going to look minus 500. Either Sergey Spivak's able to get his game going, he's able to get takedowns, he's able to get control time, able to potentially even get a finish against Waldo here. But if Spivak does not get his game going, he's probably getting knocked out. We've seen Spivak look really good in fights, but we've also seen him look really bad in fights and get finished and quit in there. So yeah, I think Spivak, I am on the Spivak side personally. He's getting finished, yes, but he's getting finished by the guys in the top 10 like Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, and Walt Harris was like way back in the day. I think he's improved a lot since then. He did lose to Tybura like way back in the day as well, but yeah, when he's losing, these last couple fights, it has been like guys like Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, and even like Jonathan Almeida is a top 10 heavyweight. So yeah, I think it's a big step down kind of for Spivak, and it's a pretty big step up for Waldo as well. So give me Spivak here, 8,300. I think he actually has honestly the third highest ceiling on the slate, behind like Merab, behind Kayla Harrison. Just with the way Spivak fights, he can go out there and get 10 takedowns in 2 rounds, right? So yeah, Spivak's definitely in play for me. And then Merab Dvalishvili, 9,000. Yeah, I mean, whether you think Merab wins or whether you think he loses, Merab's just one of these guys who you can't ignore from a DraftKings perspective. He went out there in his fight against Sean O'Malley, the first fight, and just effortlessly put up like 140. And I checked the box score. I checked how many points Merab scored against O'Malley, and I couldn't believe I forgot that he put up that much, because I went back and watched the fight, and it didn't look like your typical Merab performance there. It didn't, like against Piotr Yan, he attempted like 50 takedowns. He didn't really do that much against Sean O'Malley. A lot more striking actually against Sean O'Malley as well. So yeah, I feel like on like the best case scenario for Merab here is literally 200 DraftKings points. I'm not kidding. Worst case scenario, like in a win, it's probably like what, 120. So yeah, Merab Dvalishvili is an absolute monster, one of the best DraftKings scorers in the UFC. So like win or lose, you do not want to ignore Merab Dvalishvili, because if he's winning and you don't have him, you're absolutely toast. Yeah, give me Merab here, definitely in play at 9,000. Getting on to the GPP plays here, we got Azamat Murzakanov, 9,600. If you want to get off of Kayla Harrison, Murzakonov's a good option as well. I mean, Murzakanov, I think he wins by first round knockout. I think in terms of, there's a ton of big mismatches on the card, a ton of wide lines. I kind of feel like this is the biggest mismatch personally. I just feel like he goes out there and makes it look pretty easy against Ribeiro. So yeah, Murzakanov, 9,600. If you're looking for somebody who is going to probably get a first, maybe a second round knockout, Murzakanov's probably that guy. He's not going to have like the wrestling upside that a Kayla Harrison will have. He's not going to have the high ceiling that a Merab will have, but I think he has, first round knockout upside here. Next, we got Ju-Sung Yu, going against Jekka Sergey. He's 9,500. Yu is pretty good. I think he's decent. He's not going to be like a contender or anything, but he doesn't need to. I mean, he's fighting Jekka Sergey, who I think is probably one of the worst fighters in the division. Jekka is dangerous. He does have some power for the division, but Jekka's also, getting tired very quickly into fights. We've seen him broken before in fights, got submitted by Weston Wilson, got pounded out and broken by Anshul Jabli in the second round, and I feel like you can get takedowns here. I feel like he has the grappling to submit Jekka Sergey, and then I feel like he has the cardio, the pressure, the pace, and even the power to get a finish here at some point. So I think Yu gets a win. I think he gets a finish. I think he scores well at 9,500. Another option if you want to get off of like the very chalky Kayla Harrison this week. Chaos Williams, 8,700. We talked about this fight. I think this is a fight that is borderline must-have, just based off of how I'm expecting this fight to play out. I expect Gustafsson to go out there and just make it a total car crash, a total war. I think there's a good chance that somebody gets served. So yeah, Chaos Williams, I think a first or second round knockout is in play for Chaos Williams here with how hittable Gustafsson is. I know Gustafsson's very tough, a very durable guy, but when he's going to get hit clean by a guy that hits as hard as Chaos Williams, I feel like Gustafsson can certainly go down here. See, I like Williams, 8,700, another play, another option to make some sense here. And then Patchy Mix, 8,500. Yeah, I like Mix here, 8,500. He's making his debut, and I think he has a lot of upside. Like, Mix has 20 wins, I think 15 inside the distance, 13 by submission. And if he's able to get his game going, like if Mix wins this fight, we're looking at a ton of value here. We're looking at a big score at 8,500. I mean, if he wins this fight, there's a good chance it's by submission. There's a good chance it could even be early as well. So I feel like Batista, although he can grapple, he's a decent grappler, a good wrestler. I think there's a big difference in terms of the grappling. If this fight hits the ground and Patchy's on top, or if Batista shoots in on a takedown and leaves that neck out, Patchy's going to snatch it up. So I think Patchy Mix at 8,500 is a very good play this week. Moving on to the live dogs. And again, there's not a ton of live dogs on a card where we have so many big favorites. So many of these favorites are expected to come through. Kind of tough to find some dogs, but Gustafsson, 7,500. I liked him a ton against Giles. I don't like him as much at all against Chaos Williams, but he's going to bring a wild style here. He's going to make the fight hectic. He's very good in the clinch. He's very dangerous. We did see Chaos not look that great in his last fight against Bonfim. I think Chaos is definitely, paying attention to some things outside of fighting, it looks like. Yeah, Gustafsson, this dude's a fighter. This dude wants to be there. This dude will fight for your money, although I don't think he's as skilled as Chaos Williams. We'll see what happens. 7,500, very cheap, and I think a win condition is like a crazy, potentially even knockout, or like a crazy back-and-forth 15-minute war, something like that. So I think Gustafsson's definitely in play at 7,500. Another live dog that I think is in play is Mark the Shark Choinski. Mark the Shark is 7,300. I think this is a very close fight. A very close fight. I don't get these odds. I don't get these salaries. They have Medeiros at 8,900. I don't get that. Medeiros has not looked, this price against both of his opponents in the UFC thus far. Against Austin Hubbard, that fight was borderline 50-50. Same thing with Landon Quinones. That fight looked pretty much 50-50. Now he's going against Choinski, Mark the Shark, who can wrestling background, solid grappling. Obviously, Medeiros is going to be the better striker, but if Mark the Shark can get takedowns here, get on top, I think he has a path, and he's very cheap. So I think Mark the Shark, again, not a ton of underdogs I like, but he's definitely in play as a live dog with that wrestling upside that he can bring to the table. Waldo Cortez Acosta at 7,900. Striker versus grappler matchup. If he's able to stuff the takedowns, if he's able to get back up, if Spivak looks discouraged like he has before, we could see Waldo land a big shot, and we could see Spivak quit. We've seen Spivak quit multiple times. So yeah, a Waldo KO would not surprise me here. 7,900, he's in play. And then Sean O'Malley, 7,200. Yeah, Sean has some paths here. Although Merab is probably the best play on the slate, let's call it what it is. If Sean O'Malley wins this fight, it probably means that he was able to hurt and finish Merab. I think Sean O'Malley has all the finishing upside pretty much. Or he was able to, weasel out a decision, maybe a crooked, corrupt decision where the judges, the crooked, corrupt judges maybe got it wrong. Like Merab wins the fight, but they maybe give it to O'Malley. I could see a couple paths here for O'Malley, and he's very cheap, 25 minutes to work with. From a cash game perspective, like even O'Malley in cash games, like a stack here wouldn't be the worst look in the world. I think this fight does go 25. But yeah, if O'Malley wins, he's going to score very well. But we'll see how it plays out. And then punt plays, not a ton sticking out down low. I guess Jekka Sergi would be the only punt, just based off the fact that Ju-Sung Yu, just not proven, not tested, hasn't fought the best competition. At least with Jekka, he's been in there. He does have a win against Lucas Alexander, and he does hit hard. He is dangerous. I do worry about the cardio, the heart, the durability. But if Jekka's winning this fight, it's probably going to be in the first round, and he's probably going to break the slate. So I'll sprinkle a little bit of Jekka here at 6,700. And then the fade this week is going to be Markel Medeiros. Markel Medeiros, 8,900. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he scored like 60 points against Hubbard. He barely scored anything against Quinones. I don't think he has a ton of power for this division in the UFC. He's not going to wrestle here. Pretty content on fading Medeiros. I think there's much better options, and I think this price tag is just way too wide for him. There you guys have it. Those are the DraftKings picks for UFC 316. It should be a fun slate. I'm hoping no shenanigans happen on weigh-in day. I'm hoping no shenanigans happen on fight day like last week. Hoping all these fights stay on, and if so, I think it's going to be a good night. So yeah, guys, appreciate you guys. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't. And then check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll find the rest of my content, DFS betting, etc., etc. Best of luck, guys, for UFC 316, and we'll talk to you soon.